Most terribly cold it was. It snowed in the quiet, dark evening, the last evening of the year. And there went along the street a poor little girl, bareheaded, with naked feet, quite red and blue from cold. She held a bundle of matches in her hand. Nobody had bought anything of her the whole livelong day. No one had given her a single farthing. She crept along trembling with cold and hunger, a very picture of sorrow, the poor little thing. From all the windows the candles were gleaming, and it smelled so deliciously of pastries, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, of that she thought. As she curled herself down in a corner, she grew colder and colder, for she couldn't go home as she had not sold any matches and could not bring money. Her father would certainly hit her. Her little hands were almost numbed with cold. Oh, a match could offer her a world of comfort. Desperate for comfort, she drew one out. Oh, how it blazed, how it burnt! It was a warm, bright flame, like a candle. As she held her hands over it, it was a wonderful light. It seemed really to the little child as though she was sitting before a large iron stove. It warmed so delightfully. The little girl had already stretched out her feet to warm them too, but the small flame went out. The stove vanished. She had only the remains of the burnt out match in her hand. She rubbed another against the wall. It brought along the promise of roast goose, and another one, the most magnificent Christmas tree. The little maiden stretched out her hands towards them when the matches went out. She drew another match against the wall. It was again light, and in the lustre there stood her dead grandmother, the only person who ever loved her. So bright and radiant, so mild, and with such an expression of love. "Grandmother!" cried the little one. "Oh, take me with you. You go away when the match burns out. You vanish like the warm stove, like the delicious roast goose, and like the magnificent Christmas tree." As she rubbed the whole bundle of matches quickly against the wall, and for she wanted to be quite sure of keeping her grandmother near her. And the matches gave such a brilliant light that it was brighter than at noonday. Never formerly had the grandmother been so beautiful and so tall. She took the little maiden on her arm, and both flew in brightness and in joy so high, so very high, and then above was neither cold nor hunger nor anxiety. They were with God. At the cold hour of dawn sat the poor girl with rosy cheeks and a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. Passers-by, however, remained as oblivious to her graceful death as they were to her cold suffering. This story, The Little Matchstick Girl, was written in 1845 by Hans Christian Andersen. But I ask each one of you listening to me today, is it not our reality also in the present time and day? Are we even truly aware of what's happening in the lives of our own family members, let alone the society at large? The bigger question is, are we even sensitive enough towards our own feelings and emotions? Are we in sync with what we feel, why we feel it, and how does it affect our life? Well, don't expect me to give any answers. I honestly cannot. I do try a lot of times to give people some solutions from what little knowledge I have acquired through the years from my limited resources, but genuinely, I can't. Neither can any shrink or any philosopher or a spiritual guru. We can only find our answers within, deep within, the recesses of our heart and mind, where we haven't visited for years, if not ages. It's a complicated process of taking time out to detach oneself from the constant outside chatter and modes of information, but it's totally worth it. Just spending some time with ourselves alone, reflecting on our thoughts, our feelings, our wants and desires, our connection with people around us. And if I may so, spiritually, our connection is a soul, a pure body of light with the other souls as energy interactions. It's a liberating experience, to say the least, and would leave us full of love, compassion, sensitivity for ourselves and everyone around us. It's a divine process of transformation, very, very gradual, but a sure shot. They say charity begins at home. I would like to take it a step further. I feel charity begins with oneself. This holiday season, let's gift ourselves and others some kindness, some love. The cold outside wouldn't be so cold, if we could give some warmth of compassion to each other. And as I always say, touch one person at a time, one heart at a time, creating one smile at a time. So, my dear people, if this made you smile or made you think, then please show your appreciation by pressing the like button and sharing this audio to make someone else's day. If you like listening to Aparna Dalal, that is me, Magic Oats, that is me, then please subscribe by pressing the red subscribe button below this video so you never miss out on all the amazing, inspiring stuff I bring to you. Love you all so much. Thank you.